Good morning, student. Let's start today's class. Okay. In today's class, we are going to discuss about our further system components. Okay. Uh, that is the another or the other system used in commercially to convert the or using the solar cells. Okay, or solar module. Okay. The first one is solar inverter. Okay, the solar inverter, inverter, okay, used in our general home to to get the power from battery, which is stored by charging the battery, okay, or charging the battery by any way, okay, in direct current or in line current, okay. So the inverters used to generate the the inverter used to generate the energy or the AC power from the storage devices like batteries. Okay, so here a solar inverter converts direct current of a photovoltaic module into utility frequency AC. Okay, that means it convert the DC from which we get from photovoltaic modules, okay, or which we get from solar cell, okay, and convert that into AC, okay, which is 50 hertz to 30 volt. That is which AC we use commercially. Okay, now based on application, the solar inverter, sorry, this is the spelling mistake there. Solar inverter are of three types. Okay, one is standalone inverters, second one is grid interactive inverters, third one is module integrated inverters. Okay, these three types of inverter, okay, are there, okay, for application. Okay, now let us discuss one by one. Okay, the first one is standalone inverter. Okay, standalone inverters, okay, you know, in general inverters, what happened, the 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 DC power stored in the battery, okay, is converted into AC. Okay, but standalone inverter function is different ways. Okay, different ways. First one is feed PV power to charge battery. That means it also charge battery, okay, using PV means photovoltaic power. Okay, then second is feed power via inverter to AC load, that is decentralized grid. That means it also feed the uh, power, okay, via inverter to AC load. AC load means the load or the instrument we want to run in home that uses AC power, that is one load, or one instrument is one load. Let's say one grinder we want to run. That grinder is also a one load. Okay, so this inverter uh, feed the power from PV, okay, or photovoltaic to the AC load. Okay, or you can uh, feed the power to decentralized grid. Decentralized grid means the grid means what? The distribution line. Okay, the distribution line which supply you the current, or the government distribution line. Okay, which goes uh, grid to grid. Okay, and supply your home a current. Okay, AC current. Okay, that is also that is called grid supply. Okay, so this inverter can feed the power or the excessive power, to the decentralized grid. Okay. Next is third one is feed power from battery through the inverter to the supply AC power. Okay, to supply AC power. That means it also feed the power of battery stored in battery, or the it feed the power stored in battery. Okay, to the through the inverter to the supply AC power. Okay, that means for use of our home, we it also feed the stored DC power stored in battery and converted by that inverter. Okay, so in this manner, this standalone inverter is different from general inverter. General inverter only converts the battery supply. Okay, and battery supply or battery DC to AC supply and feed it to the domestic or home use. Okay, only. But the standalone inverter uh, function differently. Okay, then next one is grid inverter, grid interactive inverter. Okay, this inverter also known as grid tied inverter. Okay, it receives DC from the array and convert it to the converted to AC output required by the utility grid. Okay, this type of inverter will only function if the grid is present and working with a specific voltage and frequency range. Okay, then that means this grid tied inverter is only working in the or only working if there is grid supply. Okay, there is the grid supply is present. Okay, that means if the grid supply is not present or there is a power cut, then it cannot be used. This grid inverting interactive inverter cannot be used. Okay, so whenever the grid is there, this grid interactive inverter is used. Okay, the power range of such inverter from kilowatt to megawatt. Okay, the power goes from kilowatt to megawatt in this inverter. Okay, then grid inverters can be different in a number of ways depending upon whether or not the inverter has a transformer. Okay, if the inverter has a transformer, it is one type of inverter, and if the inverter has not a transformer, then that is another type of inverter. Okay, then second one is switching frequency of inverter. In basis of switching frequency, this inverter is categorized. Okay, so third one is how PV array is connected with inverter. This connection also determine the inverter type. Okay, then inverters rating capacity. Okay, with the inverter rating capacity also the inverters are different. Okay, then array has a simple string or multiple string. The photovoltaic array has a simple string or multiple string. Okay, that is also considered for different inverters. Okay, then design of inverter for single phase or multi phase power supply. Okay, then the design of inverter for single phase or multi phase power supply. Okay, so these points depend upon the types of inverters. Okay, so next is module integrated inverter. Okay, it is also known as micro inverter. Okay, they are small transformer less. Remember this module in integrated inverter is transformer less. Okay, inverter designed to be mounted on the back of the PV module. That means this module inverter is also called micro inverter. That means small inverter, and this inverter is used to mount in the back of the each PV module. Okay, the main advantages of this inverter are that no need no need of DC cabling of a PV module, because each module has an AC output. Okay, this is the advantage. That means the advantage is that since there is one micro or one integrated inverter, module integrated inverter are there in each of the solar module backside, then there is no need of DC cabling, because we get direct AC converted AC power from every solar plate through that inverter module integrated inverter. This is the advantages. Okay, which can be cabled in parallel. That means the AC cabling is cabled in parallel and coupled to the grid at a different location. Okay, then the main disadvantages, however, that they are installed at the back. These are installed in the back of the at the back of each module, and in case of failure, repairing or replacing involves removal of modules from array. Okay, this is the disadvantages. Okay, so if there is some failure in the in any solar cell, you should remove remove the whole solar cell or that solar cell. So that removal process is the disadvantages uh, of this inverter. Okay, then a grid connected inverter should meet the following requirement. Okay, the output current is in the synchronization to the main. It should be a sine curve. Okay, the output current of that inverter is is in the synchronization to the main means supply current. Okay, which is supplied by government. Okay, then the output current, and it should be a sine curve. Okay, the output current should be a sine curve. Okay, the output current should not have any DC component. Okay, the output current from this inverter should not have any DC current. Okay, then this is component. Okay, then feed in current and voltage should be in the phase with each other, so there is no reactive power between the grid and inverter. That means since it provides the power to the grid. Okay, so there should not be any phase difference between the current produced by the inverter and the grid current in the grid. Okay, so there is no there should not be no phase difference between them. Okay, so there is no reactive power between the grid and inverter. Okay, thank you. That's all.